Hey girl, hey.
It's the Hey Girl, Hey podcast on Urban Media Today. Join Kiki Brown, LaShawn Tipton, and Jerry Tipton every Saturday at 9:30 on Urban Media Today Radio through Live 365 and tune in. It's funny, it's informative, never boring, and sometimes it's damn near disrespectful. It's the Hey Girl, Hey podcast. Catch past episodes at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, Anchor FM, and UrbanMediaToday.com.
Hey.
Hey, what's up?
Man, it's been a long time since we've been here. Wow. Life be lifing.
We were just talking about that before the show. Like, so much has been happening. So much.
Life be lifing. How you been? You good?
Yeah. No, yeah.
Okay.
Hanging in there. I'm all right for the most part.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So everything is good. We haven't been here since I think May, probably. We missed a whole month, but last time we were here, Portia Fox filled in for you. Yeah. So hopefully she made you proud. We talked about some hot topic, which we were going to do again. And if this is the first time you're checking out the show, this is the Hey Girl, Hey podcast, brought to you by Urban Media Today and featured on Urban Media Today Radio. I am your radio chick, Kiki Brown.
And I'm y'all millennial chick, Jer. I miss y'all.
Jer has been out. We're so happy that you're back. If you are a friend to the show, then you already know the chatter chick will get here when she damn well please.
Yeah, she rolls right in whenever
she'll roll right in. But we have a special guest, Jer.
Yes.
Those of you who do not know, Jer is also my so sweet. She's my soror of the Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. And Jer, we are in good company tonight and right on time because we received some breaking news today about the Supreme Court. And we'll talk to Dr. Ketwana Schoos, who is the Chief Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer for the Community College of Allegheny County. So we're going to talk to Dr. Schoos in the second half, right after we talk about hot topics, and enters the chatter chick. Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Yes, bun.
Loving the bun.
Yes, buns.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Looking like Sister Buns. Oh, you just need a
hot cross buns.
Which y'all not gonna do today. Y'all not gonna. You got the Sister Bun. I'm tired of y'all doing.
It's a little heavy though.
It's cute.
I like it.
But if you're gonna do Sister Buns, you gotta jiggle it. You gotta kind of do the.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a headache right there. That's a headache.
I'm talking about not Carlton Banks. You got to look him up on Facebook. He's hilarious. He has these characters, Squints and Sister Buns, and my child is hilarious. Buns. Yes, Sister Buns she gives life. So it's the Hey Girl, Hey podcast. We do have our chatter chick here. Dr. Ketwana Schoos is on standby. She is waiting and ready. We're gonna get on with the hot topics right now. So one of the hottest stories that I really wanted to talk about, ladies, was an incident that happened in Chicago. Mm-hmm. A young mom by the name of Carlisha Hood and her teenage son, they were out, and Carlisha got into an altercation with the gentleman. We saw the video footage. Unfortunately, an argument ensued, and this gentleman named Jerry Brown, he was 32 years old. Yeah. He punched Miss Hood a few times in the face. Her 14-year-old son was there watching, and he shot the man. Mm-hmm. And he died. So last week, her teenage son they were facing murder charges. Yeah. And then Chicago prosecutors dropped the charges in the fatal shooting of Jeremy Brown. In response, Miss Hood then filed a lawsuit against Chicago and 5 police officers. Mm-hmm. So this woman has had a rough week. And I'm so glad that they decided to drop the charges. I saw the video and I just said, yeah, how else could this have happened? How else could this issue how else could this have been resolved?
Right.
Like, what were they, were they arguing over, a sandwich?
They were in the hot dog shop. What are you arguing about?
What is he?
Sides? Toppings?
He was way too aggressive, especially with a woman.
Yeah.
From what I saw from the clip, the video, she didn't seem like a threat to him. You know what I'm saying? Like, she wasn't in his face or, all this other stuff. And even if she was, he punched her like he was hard. Like, I said, are you serious? She didn't even do anything. Like, there are really some crazy people out here.
Yeah.
Really, really wild.
So you just never know what people are going through.
Absolutely.
And sometimes you have to think, you know what? It's just not worth it. I'm not going to be able to get that time back. I was sitting, and this is not even remotely close, but just what is relative is having to make that decision. I was sitting in my car and I was waiting on my best friend to pull up. We were going to a party, and this man and a woman were sitting next to me in a car, and the man got out of his car, and his car hit my truck, and I was like, yo.
Yeah.
Now, he did not even notice he hit my car. He gets out of the car and he walks over to the food truck, but the way he was walking, it looked like he was a bit intoxicated.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this was my grandmother's spirit.
Well,
that said, little girl, shut it up.
Yeah.
It's not worth it. You don't know what he's going to say. You don't know how he's going to receive and then what can you do?
Yeah.
Is there any damage? What's going to be? Do you want him to say sorry? He probably won't. Right. So you have to think, you have to have that logical thinking. And so it was just really hard to see, that happen. And it's unfortunate because I hear this young man was a father to, I believe he had daughters or a daughter.
That's what I heard.
Was you popping off punching women in the face? I'm a little, thank God for cameras.
Yeah.
Because if there weren't a camera, you would automatically thought that since she called in her son for backup, that it was about to go down.
Yeah.
Like it's the Wild Wild West there. But whenever they finally saw it on camera, that's when the whole narrative changed.
That's right.
But without the camera, you would probably thought that she called him in. They're in Chicago, and this is the way it goes down in Chicago. And then when you see the camera footage, it's like, well, you have to pull back from that. And it's sad. And I've gotten to the point where in my life, I think, that you mellow out when you get older.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't mellowed yet. I'm actually, I haven't quite mellowed.
You still a hothead?
Sean, you still about that life.
You are not a hothead. You are not about that life.
I'm the even keel, but it depends on how your energy comes to me.
I ain't a killer, but don't push me.
Don't push me, So I'm getting to that point now, especially on my job, not on my job, but different situations. Like, when people approach me and they're like real negative about petty stuff, then I'm like, what is the big deal? Like, come on.
So that you get a hot flash. Basically, you're gonna, it's the hot flash. That's what it is. It's not a temper. It's a hot flash. Like, look, it's getting hot. I'm gonna need y'all to make up y'all damn mind.
Right.
It's hot.
Exactly.
Women of a certain age, I'm gonna need y'all to do something.
That's it. Even with my driving, I'm like hitting the horn, like, go. What are you standing there for? Go.
Yeah.
I'm doing
that's not called being about that life. That's called menopause.
Yeah. Is that what it is? Because my menopause will make me about that life.
It's menopause. Don't have menopause. Put your ass in jail. You ain't about that life.
No, I'm so not a jail girl. I'm not braiding another woman's hair. We're not sharing bunks. I'm not. Nope. I'm not. I'm funny about sharing hotel rooms with family. I'm like, can't you get your own room? Like, come on, pay the extra $100 and get your own room.
Listen, I will say that there is a good story about this. Rapper Nicki Minaj has stepped in, and she said that once the young man decides that he wants to go to college, she's going to pledge her financial assistance. Now, She just said she pledged her financial assistance. That don't mean he got a full ride to college.
No, he get a couple burgers.
He got. I'm gonna pay for your books. I'm gonna get you a lunch ticket or something. Because she got a lot of things to worry about right now. So she probably ain't gonna do no full ride. But that was nice of her.
That was nice. That was nice.
Yeah. And speaking of college, we're gonna talk to Dr. Ketwana Schoos. Again, she is the Chief Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer for Community College of Allegheny County. Our country is going through something, child. And today, the Supreme Court ruled on the changing the rules for college admittance. Mm-hmm. And so, affirmative action is we about to. So we're going to talk more with Dr. Schoos in a minute. Before we get her in, I want to bring out who the F cares news.
Okay, let's get it.
Did you know that the Red Table Talk is coming back with some really interesting stuff? Number one, I didn't know they were gone.
Yeah, funny you would say that. They weren't on.
Okay,
I'm not throwing shade, but I didn't know they went on.
I was like, okay.
You know, and now that I think of it, I do remember them saying something on the Shade Room. This was a few months ago about Red Table Talk leaving. But I thought it was just temporary. You know, I didn't know if it was like permanent or not. So
okay,
it's coming back.
Yeah, I didn't have a subscription to that. So you know, when I would see something is when it was interesting and people would post it or something, and if I looked at my Facebook or something, then I would see that they said something on the Red Talk. Not throwing any shade against it. I didn't watch it.
Okay.
Too much.
Told you that was my response. Tiffany Haddish said she's dating herself.
Okay.
I think that would be wise.
Yeah.
That might be wise. She needs some growing up to do. A little bit.
Wait,
everything ain't funny.
When did she break up with Common?
Girl, you ain't know she broke up.
Girl,
that's a long time. I talked.
Girl, he with Jennifer Hudson now.
Yeah. Not really. No, he's not. No, he's not.
He's not with her no more?
I mean, he can't keep a woman either. So
yeah.
He's not really into the monogamy and the
he's super light skinned. He's super light skinned. Super light skinned.
I don't know what that means, but
he's super light. He's super light skinned. Anybody care about Megan Good dating Jonathan Majors? Jonathan Majors.
Oh,
he's on that movie that I refused to watch, Creed 3.
He was in the one movie. Oh my gosh, what was with him? And
he was in Lovecraft.
Yeah, Lovecraft County.
Or whatever you call it.
You've seen him before.
So clearly, LaShawn does not know, nor does she care. And while she Googles that, does anybody care about the BET Awards and how we are no longer impressed? And the kids completely taken over all the hard work that we've put together for the BET Awards. They have totally TikToked it out.
Oh.
Look, she just Googled them. Okay.
Yeah, he probably a movie or so. That's so funny.
I'll put that up.
Okay, before we get to our sponsor and before we get to our guest,
I'm sorry.
I have to say the BET Awards. I'm a little pissed off because I'm like, it just poor Bobby Jones, poor Dr. Bobby Jones.
Bobby Jones. I used to love his show. He'd be like, Bobby Jones.
He literally clutched his purse. He said, "Oh, Jesus." Lord, what is? Oh,
that's his deep.
JT throwing her cell phone. Somebody else over here twerking. Oh, this is not the BET.
And didn't Tyler Perry buy BET?
Medea gonna be all over it next year. She's gonna pull out her gun. It's gonna be a wrap.
He's going to be in every scene of the. We're going to be like, oh, look at there's Medea, there's Joe, there's so-and-so, there's so-and-so.
I don't know if I'm gonna watch it.
I don't watch it really, but I hear like little excerpts the next day. So, but this time it wasn't impressive at all. I think I looked at something with what's his name, Funky Dineva or whatever. It's another podcaster, but he was talking he talked about the styles and the looks. And so I kind of looked at it, try to Google, and I was like, well, who are these people? Yeah, I was like, who are these people that are on here? What are they?
That's what I mean by the kids taking over. I felt like there was no connection. And honestly, no respect to music. Like I love the fact that they honored Busta Rhymes. He totally reclaimed his time. He was like, you ain't gonna give me 2 damn minutes. I'm gonna take 20 minutes and then I'm gonna give you a 30-minute performance. And you ain't gonna say nothing in that hot turtleneck and leather jacket, but I digress. And I don't know why Patti LaBelle was chosen to do the Tina Turner tribute.
Oh my God.
But this, she be doing, she cracked me, she be doing this.
Yeah, like
I don't know the words to nothing.
Yeah. And she said the prompter. But
okay, listen. Girl, bye.
What are the words? What song was she singing? What's love got to do with it? Got to do with it. What's love? I mean, these words, I don't even know the whole song.
Everybody knows that song.
Right? Yeah. It's been out for as long as Voulez-vous coucher avec moi? Ce soir. But yeah, I was like, and I always give Patti a pass because it's not that I'm giving her a pass. Patty's like 80 years old and she looks fabulous.
Better. She knows better.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. There's could have been. I'm not a fan. And I mean no disrespect. Love your pies. Love your pies. I mean no disrespect. No disrespect. But I think that they could have had Soror Selena Johnson. Would have been amazing. Yeah. She did a concert here in Pittsburgh and she did a Tina Turner tribute. And it was on. She said her voice, she learned how to sing her technique through Tina Turner.
Yeah, she has like a heavy voice.
They could have called her. She could have done that. You know what?
Yeah. But I think they were trying to get Tina's peers or something like that.
No, there was a bunch of 20-year-old interns. No shade to our centennials, but they were like, so who could we get? My mama was listening to somebody named Patti LaBelle. Y'all want to call her?
That's the young
Patti
people.
LaBelle sound about right.
That's like the young people always think that the only people in the Black Freedom Riders were like Martin Luther King. Oh, who can we call? Let's call Martin Luther King.
Wait, ma'am.
Let's call Martin Luther King.
I'm gonna need you. Read a book.
Read a book.
Wait,
he's gonna get to some music.
I apologize to Dr. Shows in advance because I was today years old and I found out Dr. King had a sister. His sister passed away today.
Yeah, I seen that too. I'm like, oh, I didn't know. So
yeah, well,
talk about low key. Rest in peace. Rest in peace.
She wasn't getting nothing for free. Wasn't who her brother was.
Listen.
She wasn't getting.
She lived a long life in peace.
Nothing.
And now she is resting in peace. She lived a peaceful life. Nobody knew.
That would have been anybody else. They would have been like, you know who my brother is? You up there hassling me for some money. You know my brother is Martin Luther King.
Right.
Give me this house for a discount.
Absolutely. Now we'll see if she get that discount because we're going to talk about how so much has changed racially in this country. And we're going to talk to Dr. Ketwana Schoos, who is the Chief DEI, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer for Community College of Allegheny County. I'm so glad that she said yes to our invite, joining us today because so much has happened in our country. And today, the U.S. Supreme Court has set some new rules for college campuses when it comes to admissions. And so we're going to talk to her in just a minute. But first, we have a word from our sponsor. Hold tight.
Fentanyl is not just in heroin. The drug supply is changing. And I carry naloxone because I don't want to see nobody die from a drug overdose. You can test your drugs for fentanyl. Small changes make big differences.
All right. This episode is brought to you by the Allegheny County Health Department. Please stay close to harmreductionallegheny.org to find out their summer overdose prevention pop-up events here in Allegheny County, Pennsylvania. As Stacy Brown says, no one has to die today. Please make sure you get your Narcan and learn more about fentanyl. And, these overdose numbers need to decrease and not increase. So that's definitely an important message. Another important message is to know what's going on today. Please join me in welcoming Jerry and my So Sweet Soror, Dr. Ketwana Schoos, Again, she is the Chief Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer for Community College of Allegheny County. She is a higher education professor, professional with over 20 years of progressive experience as an administrator and faculty member, promoting DEI, variety of college and university settings. She has a long list of degrees, and we don't have enough time to get through them, but congratulations. She also teaches courses in subject areas such as sociology and diversity and social justice, African American history, and leadership. She is an active member of the Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. LaShawn is like, if you don't stop. And she is the current president of Epsilon Eta Zeta chapter here in Western PA. Thank you so much, So Sweet, for being here and joining us today.
Absolutely. Thank you for the invite.
Of course. So what's going on?
It's really, yeah.
When you heard the news about the ruling, I you know what's happening, but I don't know.
Yeah.
There are many people that's just like, so lost. What does that mean for my niece who wants to apply for college? Can you tell us?
Yeah. So I just think it's by design, if we think about where we're at, just in terms of like the power of like legislation and how it's like uplifted marginalized communities, and now we're, I think, rolling the clock back. I think that's what I'll say what happened today. Mm-hmm. So it felt like a gut punch, especially for somebody like me and my counterparts who teach African American history classes. Like, you can't talk about history without in education and talk about important legislation, laws, policies such as affirmative action. But essentially, I think what happened today is that no longer will race be able to be utilized as one of the criteria for admission into a higher education institution. Yeah. So it's never been the only factor, but it has been a factor of why historically, it wasn't until the 1960s, 1970s where you see an influx of especially Black people, but people of color, other marginalized groups too, like affirmative action. Let me put that out there too. It's not just about Black people. I'm interested in the intersections with African American history because of the courses that I teach, and just I love to learn about this part of history. But women, other disadvantaged groups. So what it does is take away that as a potential criteria, because there was a time and place where we did not see a lot of these groups on college campuses, and it was by design, right? So what today said is that no longer can, if it's a rubric, the race can't count. So you can't have these race conscious policies, it's never saying that you're not qualified in other aspects, but it is taking away an opportunity for race to give you another check mark point. I don't know what, whatever individual institutions use, mark of consideration. Because today is saying, like, if you do so, you're taking away like the right that people have under the 14th Amendment, like this equal protection of the law, by putting race as a factor. So I think, in a long story short, if I had to say it again, like, it just turned back the clock on the advancement of marginalized groups being able to participate in higher education.
Absolutely. Some of you that are watching, we are recording on Thursday evening. It's June 29th, 2023. You may be noticing some slowness, some lagging. So, this is what happens when you're on a Wi-Fi, but hopefully you're able to hear it. Well, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you just fine.
Okay. Yeah, there's just a little lagging, but you're fine, Dr.
Okay, since I can take these out or switch earphones.
No, you're fine. Okay. You're fine. Okay. You're good.
Okay. It was just a little delay in your
speech. It was just a little delay. You're fine.
Okay.
You're fine.
Okay.
You're fine. What does this, and you may have covered this, but what does this decision mean? Our young brothers and sisters want to pursue a higher education. If my niece, who's 17, she graduates from high school and she wants to go to an HBCU college, or she wants to go to an Ivy League school, because I do know that, Harvard and University of Carolina and Chapel Hill were the two schools identified in this. So what does that mean for her?
Yeah, so I think it's split up I guess my take on it. So part of how we get to where we are today, because this isn't the first challenge to affirmative action, it's the one that's just been successful in this over almost 40-year, attempt to do away with the
Wow.
policy since it was like
Yeah.
reemerged in the late 1960s. So let's take Harvard or a place like Yale, where our current sitting justice Clarence Thomas benefited from affirmative action to attend Yale Law School.
And
He wrote
voted
about
against
it. Yeah.
How he forgot? He forgot that. I don't think anybody reminded him. They forgot. He forgot.
Yeah. So conveniently, so that happens. But what it does is, I think the premise of it is that the people who are against affirmative action are saying that these minority or minoritized groups are taking away a seat at a table for otherwise qualified non-minority or non-minoritized groups. So white students, or dominant students, white men at that, right? So like this is what Yale is and Harvard and these Ivy League and elite schools, this is what the type of institution is crafted for them. So for you to give away a seat for somebody where, they're going to minimize it to like only because they would insert the marginalized group versus like, no, they're otherwise qualified. And in the past, they've always been otherwise qualified, but because of their race or because of their gender or because of their sex or because of their ability status, you said they can't come here. Right. So this is what affirmative action is doing, is saying like you can take into account, like if it is a group that has been historically discriminated against, and if you can prove at this, or you can show through law, through policy, through the history of the institution that they've been denied solely because of that. Otherwise, they would have met the qualifications. So what it does for today's youth is to say nobody's challenging legacy, right? So you're generations of folks who've gone to Harvard. We have a huge population of our students are first generation college students, right? So you can get a point on a rubric because your great grandfather went here, but we can't because at the same time, your great grandfather was matriculating. Mine couldn't, probably because we were still enslaved. Education was being prohibited for this race of Black people. But you can have a point, but I can't, right? And you're reducing it to race. You're reducing it to something like gender for those policies that don't benefit women. So I think what it's going to do long term is like we're probably going to see a shift in demographic of from a lot of protected classes, not just race, but this is a race-based decision was made today. So I'll talk about race. And then the reason it isn't going to be because, they took away this policy that helped to, level the playing field or provide access to a degree. And it's going to be reduced to, like, we told you they weren't qualified in the first place, right? So now we take away this one thing, this one piece of a larger scale of how students are being admitted into institutions, and it's going to be reduced to the reason that's why they can't, right? We told you they weren't on equal footing, or they weren't up to par, or they weren't otherwise equally qualified. So I think that is going to be the long-term effect. Like when you do see these smaller numbers, women, people of color, then it's going to be reduced to like, you know what? They weren't supposed to be here in the first place because they didn't have the qualifications. Yeah.
So I heard something. I'm sorry, Jerry and Sean, if you all have questions, I want to just get this one in here. I heard on CNN that there may be, I don't know if there's I don't know if the word I want to use is wave. I'm not sure what the word escapes me now, but an opportunity for you to address race if it's in your essay, to talk about your disadvantage or, inspiration. If you mention race in your essay, your college essay, that may be accepted. And can you shine a light on that? Can you?
Well, I think that still doesn't change what happened today. You can you could always talk about it, but what today takes away is for somebody to give you an opportunity, like I would say advantage or a point or another higher mark on a rubric because of it, right? So you can't take that into account. So I think you continue to tell your story, but it won't be able to be evaluated in the same way, because it can't be in this. That's what it takes away, is the opportunity for it to be a part of the equation of whether you get to the table or not, right? So tell your story, and it's going to make you, potentially more a well-rounded applicant. But when you have to turn in that sheet of why this person gets an opportunity or this doesn't, you're not going to be able to take into account their story that's centered around their identity of race.
Yeah.
Jerry, Sean?
And that was Justice Roberts that said that, something about being able to put it inside of your essays. But what if your life, What if you wanted to write about something that was pretty positive in your life, not something about, and it doesn't have to do with your race, but just great things. You can't get into the college now. I mean, you got to make your whole story sound like it's been such a hardship for you to get into the college because you know you want somebody to feel sorry for you. That makes no sense.
This whole deficit mentality, like, why should that be the center of our experience, like from any marginalized group?
Exactly.
Yeah,
and it's just going to be a ripple down effect to now jobs are going to be affected by that. Employers are going to start saying things where, you know, we don't have to have a certain amount of people we hire here at this university or at this, you know, this job. We don't have to have those people. Well, it's a ripple down effect.
Is there pressure now on HBCUs?
I've been seeing
there will be
just on the, you know, check in with social media, like HBCUs, you know, get ready to open your doors wider because it's going to potentially have an influx, especially from Black student applicants. So I think it could have a positive. Right. Why go somewhere where, you know,
you're not wanted?
Exactly.
You're tolerated and not appreciated.
Yeah.
But see, that's for HBCUs. The thing that gets them is that the sponsorships. It doesn't come from all of the ones that the D1 schools get. And so that's the issues that they're having at HBCUs. Not even in terms of sports, but period. Like people that graduated from there, there's not a lot that could afford to give back. And some of them are, but come on. That's not fair for it to happen like that inside of a college. College isn't for everybody. So everybody's not going to go to college.
How people can give back, like that's another generational thing. I just attended a fundraiser recently, and it's like families, right? So people know the names of like families in this region where money goes back. It's old money, right? Yeah. Education is a key to access to that economic prosperity and growth that's generational. We still have a huge sector of our communities who are first generation.
Right.
We don't have that, right? So we do give, like, you know, we're not giving hundreds of thousands. We're giving at a rate that's proportional to the wealth that we have. I'm like, that wealth acquisition, it is going to go far and beyond education opportunities. I think you're very right. We have to look at the economics of it. The workplace dynamics are going to shift. There's just so much that is centered on this decision that was made today in ways that are going to be detrimental moving forward.
Yeah.
Do you think that this can discourage a lot of young people or people in general from applying to colleges? You know, they're like, oh, now that this is happening, I don't even think I want to do it anymore. You know, like.
Yeah, I hope it redirects potentially to say, well, I don't want to do it there. Like there are other options. I think there will be, huge significant growth at HBCUs. I hope it isn't a deterrent. For students showing interest, because I do think as an educator, like it is an opportunity. Like it's my path, my story, like it's centered on education as being the pathway and the key to opening those doors. So I just say that I hope it doesn't, but I wouldn't doubt that it would affect students' decisions.
So does this have anything to do with voting? Because of the justices that are in-house, some were appointed by Trump, some were appointed by Biden, some were appointed, probably by Reagan, because some of them old as hell. So, I mean, it's just, you know what I mean? Like, and does this deter, like Jerry said, does this deter not from enrolling in a higher education or participating in higher education or pursuing, but wanting to participate in the voting process in elections? Because it's just like, nobody cares.
I hope it motivates, right? But we think about it a lot of ways that you don't just come out of law school and become a Supreme Court judge. Like you work your way up through that, right? The different levels, like start at a lot of these local, like you vote on judges, you vote on, these different seats that sit in the different circuit courts. So I do hope that it motivates and to see that there is power in that. And that's only we're going to affect change at the top, because that's just not a position that there are only 9, right? There are 9 justices. And so that is the cream of the crop arguably the cream of the crop that makes it has the opportunity or the access to sit in those seats. But I do hope that it motivates, because we need to pay attention to what's going on locally. And a lot of those, you can't just vote straight party anymore. Like you need to look down.
Yes, you got to read
where people stand on these types of topics that affect our lives like on a daily basis? You think that this decision isn't going to affect the lives of the people coming through generational wealth, or probably the children of the justices, right? Grandchildren of the justices. They're set up to be able to, take advantage of these education opportunities. It's going to have a trickle down and detrimental effect on these
everybody
marginalized and
else.
undersized groups. Yeah,
it's certainly going to be part of the rhetoric or the narrative whenever it's time to vote this year. Somebody's going to have their platform on affirmative action. I guarantee that's going to be the platform.
Well, the Democrats anyway.
Yeah. Well, and they're kind of switching up too. I mean, there's some of them I'm like,
But the leader of that party, the former president, said this is a great day for old merit-based practices, and more quote unquote old merit-based practices are slowly showing its ugly head. Now we can't, in some states we can't talk about critical race theory. We've overturned Roe versus Wade. Racism is gaining and growing more rapid. And I love my European friends, co-workers, colleagues, neighbors, because we the only Black family on the street. But I think about racism every day.
Yeah.
I don't think, and maybe it's because of my age, but I never thought that I would think every day the person did not speak to me in the grocery store. The person did not. Why wasn't I considered for this promotion or interview, or why wasn't I selected for this particular event or opportunity? I immediately connected, to racism. This is another thing that we could connect to racism, and I don't want this thinking to make it. I don't want it to turn into trauma. I don't want it to turn into an angry spirit. I don't want to turn into anything bitter. And I feel like I'm not the only person that this is happening to. What can you say, Soror, to those who are watching and then those who are listening, via stream? What can we do? And you may have covered it, but maybe reiterate. What can we do? Can we, the people, do anything? Because it reached the Supreme Court. So it's like, now what can we do?
Yeah, I think we continue. Like they say, I don't know. I feel like what works is to fight the good fight, like however that sounds in terms of like being cliche, but I don't think it should be a stopping point. To Sora's point earlier, I think it should be like a motivation, an opportunity to say, you know what, in order to be able to weigh in on these decisions, I have to have a seat at the table. And sometimes you have to take advantage of these opportunities, like be involved in your workplace, be involved in your children's education, be active in your communities, like learn what the issues are, like be a problem solver. So I do hope that it helps to get us closer to that mentality of like when something happens that feels like a huge setback or a challenge, that you don't just stop running, right? People before us didn't stop running. That's how we get to where we are. And we figure out how to strategically come together and think about how we get beyond this, how we change this. It was changed, before, it can be changed again, right? So we just have to get strategic and be involved and being a problem solver would be my advice on how to move forward. And do it, the best advice I ever received from my first supervisor: do the best you can with what you have, where you're at. And it's going to look very different based on where you are in life, where you live, opportunities that you have, but everybody can do something.
Now, these are big colleges, big name colleges and colleges around the world, but every bit of higher education is important, I believe. I was a student at CCAC, Community College of Allegheny County, where I received my associates in communications, but I can't find a diploma at all. I might have to go back. Child. So, does this affect your organization as well?
Well, community colleges.
What you can share.
I don't. We have we're open admission, right?
Okay.
So I think it takes away a lot of those barriers at these selective schools. That's why the conversations is happening about, around Harvards and the Yales and Ivy Leagues and the schools that have these more selective admissions processes. So I think the beauty in like CCAC can definitely be a starting point. Like I said, where you are like in life, there's from a lot of people, your goal doesn't have to be to go on and get your doctorate. Like you can come to CCAC for workforce development, to get certification to advance like in your career. So I think there's it's not a one size fits all model, and CCAC can be an entry point for wherever you are in your educational journey, because we do have this open admission and commitment to our local communities and providing affordable access to education like for the community. That is what is at grounded CCAC in this mission. So I don't think that it will affect a CCAC in the way that it will a school that takes into account some of these factors, where race or legacy or, your portfolio. And I'm not saying that CCAC is not a place that does not have those things where you can list and they do have a place in the admission process, but I'm saying that it's not going to have the same level of weight because of our focus and our mission and our charge as an open access institution.
I think it's time for us to have the real conversation with our kids, and invest that interest in what they really, really want, and try and guide them in that direction. If your teen, your junior, soon to be high school senior, has visions or aspirations of becoming a fashion designer, then look at where they can go for that. A musician, look at where they can go for that. I'm not against higher education. I'm not against college. I feel that, I received my bachelor's. I'm excited about my college education, but I don't remember a damn thing from my classes that I took. I took film study. Like, why? Like, the only thing I remember is Dancing with Wolves. I don't even know why we watched it. I don't know. But, take interest in what your kids really want to do. And I believe that this generation, this younger generation, these young people are so outspoken. They're unfiltered. They are intelligent, not fully, because they still got the TikTok knowledge. But the real life, you got to learn the common sense. You got to learn reality, and ask the right questions. If there's something that you don't understand, please ask the right questions. And there is no such thing as a dumb question. So is there anything that you want to share with us, Dr. Schoos? Because I know you have another engagement. Is there anything that you would like to share with the audience, or is there something that do you want to share contact information so that if anyone has any questions or any further comments, or maybe they want to talk to you about something, maybe they want to enroll in CCAC?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I'm accessible through email. Is the first initial and then my last name. So Schoos, so KSCHOOS @ccac.edu. Number is 412-237-4542. Happy to connect to anywhere in the college. Like from a mission standpoint, like if you're a current student and you running into a challenge, I love being a problem solver or a troubleshooter with students to get them. I have equity is where I'm at. Like, what do you need in order to be successful here at the college? And let us get you connected to it. If you're interested in learning more, like we are going to continue to have these conversations at CCAC. We have an Ethnic and Diversity Studies department, which is overseen by a community like leader and just a gem, Dr. Ralph Proctor. And we have Ethnic and Diversity Studies class. We talk about different ethnic groups, different racial groups, different marginalized groups. I do teach the African-American I am one of the faculty members who teaches African-American history classes. So if you want to learn and have these conversations in a safe space and a learning space, then there's an opportunity for that too. And I would just encourage people to continue to stay engaged. I think when we kind of, step away and think that, our one vote, our one comment, our one contribution is for naught and doesn't have an effect like it does and has a ripple effect. So I think to stay committed. And don't let this decision is heavy, right? And it can have a long-standing impact, but it's also reversible, right? Yeah. So we stay connected and we to change the tide.
Right. Thank you so much, Dr. Ketwana Schoos. She is the Chief Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer for Community College of Allegheny County. Please look her up. Please reach out to her if you have any further conversations. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you. We appreciate you. Ladies, did you have any further questions for Dr. Ketwana?
No, I don't. Explained everything. You answered everything that I was going to say, but no, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
For coming here.
Good information.
Thank you for the invite.
Thank you so much. We're gonna wrap up, but I know you have another engagement. So if you wanted to kind of jump out, you have my information.
Yes.
Please feel free to reach out. If there's anything that you need that we could do, please let us know. You are welcome back anytime.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Have a good one.
All right. Take good care.
All right. It is the Hager Hay podcast from Urban Media Today and Urban Media Today Radio. When you all heard the ruling with the Supreme Court, I mean, I know we've talked about it with Dr. Ketwana, but like, it made me feel like, damn.
Yeah.
What is this world coming to?
Yeah. It gives you that Miss Sophia thing. All my life,
I had to fight.
That's just the way I like. Again, something else, you know.
It's always like you said, right? Something else is always something, you know. Like
it makes you want to. Someone who is not mentally strong, someone who doesn't understand that, you know, the whole cliche, this too shall pass, or understand that this is a part of life. This is something that just a wave that we got to ride. Somebody can really make this a reason to get into that dark place and not have any hope. And that, you know, depending on how they're built upstairs, they could take that and do whatever with it. You know, prayerfully that doesn't happen. But like I said, with the critical race theory and some states shutting that down and the overturning of Roe versus Wade, we just do not, they're taking our voices. These are, and again, I love my European family, but these are old white men.
I think even young white
telling
people
me, an old ass black man.
Yeah. You said
telling me how I'm supposed to live my life and how I'm supposed. Now I don't have a womb. I didn't gave it up. I gave up my womb. I have no room for my womb. It's gone.
But you're a womb man.
I'm a womb man.
He's a womb man.
This is my body. And we talked about this before. You don't want to watch my kids, but you want to tell me how to have kids. You want to tell me if I can have kids or if I should, that I should have. But you don't want to watch my kids, and you don't want to give me more money to have care for my children. These are old white men making these decisions for us.
And I don't like that. I don't like, even with birth control and, you know, and abortions and stuff like that. Like, why are you making a decision for me? You are not a woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know nothing that goes on in a woman's body. Like, I never understood it. You know what I mean? How are you going to tell me what I can and cannot do with my body?
I don't get how what's that like at the dinner table? You know what I'm saying? You're a justice, you're a Supreme Court justice, and you got to go to work and you got to come home to your wife and your daughters. And you got to sit at the family reunion with your nieces. And this is a decision. Like, I'm not a justice. I have never practiced law. I don't understand that. I just don't understand the logic.
You know what? I wonder if Clarence Thomas, like, do they have a family reunion with the Thomases? Like, like who is in his family?
Who is coming? Do y'all still claim him?
Yeah, like, is there?
Y'all still claim cousin Clarence?
Is there Thanksgiving at his house? What do they serve?
You're like, I ain't claiming that nigga. I ain't claiming that nigga.
Is it pumpkin pie or sweet potato? I don't know. You know,
I think it's pumpkin.
But I'm just, you know, it just, aside from him, I think this generation now is going to change a lot of things. Like, we don't give them a lot of credit that they should have. They are creating wealth in ways that we only thought that education, well, get the phone, get something going on there, Keith.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
My bad.
They're creating wealth in other ways that we only thought that education could be the only way to create wealth and create generational wealth. And they're using their voices for to speak up. I think we just got to get behind them a little bit more and just give them a little bit more of a push instead of being critical of what they do. There's some things since we have social media, it makes it a little easy for us to criticize them, but they have the power to really create a lot of change in this world. Like I look at some young people and I'm thinking, my goddaughter, she was saying that, my little grandson, he's hilarious. He's a funny kid, but in school, he likes to crack jokes. So I said, well, I tell you what, I told him, I said, call me every day and don't crack jokes in school. Give me 15 minutes and I'll tell you if you're funny. Cause I think I'm pretty funny. I'm like, so, give me 15 minutes. Call me and talk to me for 15 minutes. Cause I don't think in his career, and she'll probably be mad that I say this. I don't think college is for him. And not that he's not a smart kid.
That's a real statement.
I don't think college is for him. I think that, and I told him, I said, I think he's a very funny kid. But I look at the Steve Harveys who are like million billionaires and the Cedric the Entertainers and the Chris Rocks and the Dave Chappelles and all of them, that if they were given the opportunity to say those funny things that, it wouldn't have been so hard for them. They could have got out and did it. So I think this generation is going to create wealth and do their own thing. Whereas we're sitting up here mad, and we rightfully should be mad about affirmative action. Mm-hmm. No doubt about that. But in terms of college, in terms of everything, I think they're going to be changing the way things look for everybody and the way businesses are for everybody. Right. Because I think we're in the mindset.
I hope you're right. I hope you're right, Sean. I really do.
I think
I don't think that it's going to be the same chicks we saw next to Bobby Jones at the BET Awards. I don't think that's going to be them.
No, with the booties out. You're like, oh, she touched me. She got to split up her side. Oh, that just makes me
sad.
It's sad.
Makes me sad.
It's sad. So I don't know. There's a lot going on in this world. But I just know that we just got to keep, like Kiki, when you were talking about, feeling that you always have to fight, or race is always on your mind.
Yeah,
always. I think it's like that for people of color. It's always on our mind. Absolutely. If something doesn't happen to us, the first thing we go to is race. And rightfully so, we should, because some things do happen to us because of our race. We have more happen to us as a bad result because of our race, as opposed to for us because of our race.
Mm-hmm. But you know what, Sean? I want to just live life. I don't want to have to think, was this because this person don't like me because I'm Black? Was it this person really just deny me? Did this person really just not speak to me because I'm Black, or because you just ignorant as hell? Mm-hmm. That this person really did not want to give me an extra cherry because I'm Black, or because they only got limited in the back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When I go to the ice cream store and I want a cherry on my, and I want two. How come you gave her two, but you didn't give me an extra? But that, I mean, it's funny, but it's like, but this is really what and sometimes, and I love my coworker, her name is Kelly. She works at Star 100.7. I love Kelly. She and I are on KDKA's Talk Pittsburgh every Wednesday. And we talk and we have very in-depth conversations. And she's a fan of the show. She wants to actually be on. So does Heather Abraham. But I get scared. I get scared to have a boy. I get scared. I'll be like, I don't know if y'all ready. But we have conversations, and there are just times that, Kelly would just look at me like, and I will tell her, like, it's real when you Black.
It is.
Like, I can't do the things that you do. I can't say the things that you say. I can't, I can't.
Yeah.
And she just be like, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's real.
I think they think they know the hardship of it, because when you say they can't say the things that we say, like, they're like, oh, it's so bad because I can't say the N-word. Like, that's nothing. You know, we can't do anything.
Yeah.
All we're telling you is don't say the N-word, but you get privileges to so much. You don't have to say the N-word. You don't have to make me feel a certain kind of way. All you got to do is keep living your life, because things are coming to you because of who you are. And things leave, they don't come to me because of who I am. We got to face that truth, white and black.
You know what? I'm sorry. Go finish your statement. I want to ask you a question.
I mean, I tell my white friends that all the time. I mean, we're cool and I love them, and I have relatives that are white, but you got to understand it's different for me than it is for you. But you know,
Sean and Jerry, tell me how. So I'm in a text conversation with a friend who is also African American, and I'm texting him my frustration about a coworker who is not. And I have a frustration because this person, I feel like, does not respect my position, does not respect who I am, does not respect my time. It's basically, you know, this is what I want. I don't care, whatever. I'm going to just ask you when I feel like asking you. No, I don't care. I need it to be done. And I'm the type of person, like, I've paid my dues. Mm-hmm. I'm a grown ass woman. I'm 50 years old. I'm accomplished. I'm a businesswoman. I know my ish. Yes, I still have room for growth, but at the same time, I'm going to reclaim my time. You're going to respect me, and you're going to put some damn respect on my name. Mm-hmm. And I'm saying this, and the person replies back. He replies back, yeah, but it's her world, not yours.
What?
And I was pissed. I understood what he was saying, but I was like, yo, it's my world too.
Yeah, right.
Why can't it be my world? He was like, that's not what I'm saying. You got to learn how to play the game. At the end, I'm tired of tapping.
Yeah.
I'm tired of tap dancing. I don't want to have to go through that. No, just like you want me to respect you, I want you to respect me. Right. And I'm showing you respect. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So why do I have to do a damn dance to kind of sort of show you that
Yeah, I think then that's all about the conversation too. You know, like if you're my subordinate and you know, you're supposed to work for me, if you're not following the rules, I got to address that with you. I have to do that with anybody that's underneath. No one gets a pass because work is work. So, you know, if they treat everybody like this, something has to change. And with me being your boss, I got to let you know. It's all about that conversation. Now, if you want to take it to another level and say that, you know, I'm pointing you out, or you're feeling discriminated against, you got to show me the facts on that. But you got to respect me in my position. First and foremost, on the job, you got to respect me in my position.
Right.
But if we're outside of the job, you're doing these things, I'm going to correct you too. Right. But on the job, I got to correct you. Because if this person treats you like this on the job and they do it, they're going to do it in front of other people, and other people are going to treat you the same way. So it has to be addressed.
They will not care at all. And it's like if you don't say anything, they'll think it's okay to continue to say.
But if you do say something, then you're the angry Black person.
Oh, yeah.
It's okay. I'll be it.
And I was going to say, at this point, it doesn't even matter. Because they're going to...
Sean said.
It doesn't even matter.
Present.
Ugly
Black woman, present.
You know, because that's true. I'm angry and I'm a Black woman. There's nothing bad or wrong with that. You know, I told someone on a call, they said something about how they thought I looked when I was on a call. And the thing is that when we were on the call, I couldn't hear them. I kept on saying, hey, I said, can you guys hear me? I can't hear you, because technology, sometimes it doesn't work. Well, this person replied back the next day, you look like you weren't interested. I said, how did that look? Show me that face. She couldn't tell me. She couldn't tell me the face. I said, well, I'm going to tell you, you never have to read my face, because my mouth tells you how I feel. I said, so I'm going to tell you what I am right now.
Right.
I am disappointed. I am angry. And you're not going to paint me with that brush. And she was like, so those are things we got to have conversations about. You know, the angry Black woman, there's angry white women, there's angry people, period. But why does it, when it comes to us, when somebody says angry Black women,
it's more right.
You get this whole narrative behind it. Like, this is terrible. She got a flame shooting out of her head. She's about to go in and about to cuss everybody out. What? You know, like, we got the right to be angry, and it's okay. But
we do look angry though, Sean. If you notice, sit back in a diner, or maybe a heavily populated, like a commercial restaurant where you know we walking in there too. Black women, we look mad.
We be looking.
We be looking, and I know we're not, because we're probably thinking about stuff.
Yeah,
we're probably thinking like, damn, I got to get my kids.
I think it's all. I think it's. I mean,
we just mad. We just look mad, but we're not mad.
Yeah.
I've heard that. I heard God say to me, "Smile, sweetie." And I'm
I don't like that. Don't tell me that.
What? I'm just walking. This is just my face. I mean, it's go ahead, smile. You got a beautiful smile. I'm like, how would you know? You don't even know me. I'm just walking and just thinking. Like, come on.
That's the dumbest line. Don't tell me to smile. Yeah. And that's so wrong for us to say. Don't be telling me to smile.
Don't tell me to smile. I'm okay.
That positive stuff. Giving me positive reinforcement. Damn it.
You don't know what's really
going on in
my head. We don't have mean faces. I mean, it might look that way, and our perception is like, you know, she looks pretty mean, or Black women look mean. I think after a while, like, some of our faces are painted as mean, and so now when everybody sees that face, they think that's, well, she's an angry Black woman, but that could just be our face. We all kind of sort of look similar.
You know that, you know, I think Beyonce, and I'm slowly slipping out of the beehive, for that interlude in the the live performance she did, and she used Malcolm X's quote about the Black woman, the most disrespected person in the world is the Black woman.
Yeah.
And it's, you just don't, and I would love to recite the whole thing, but it escapes me right now. I don't know it. But I'm glad that we got into this conversation, and I'm hoping that when people, you know, do listen in, or they're watching, they extend this conversation with their circles and say, okay, so how can we overcome the decision? How can we be better as a race? How can we show others that we do deserve the respect, or we do deserve to be included? We are important, and we do deserve to have the same privileges as our white, our European counterparts. So, you know, don't just look at this podcast episode as just another one just ranting. No, this is serious. Our world is really, really, really changing. We are dealing with smog from Canada.
It really affected me too.
Like, this world is changing.
Yeah. Okay. Just get over COVID. Now we didn't even get over
the masks.
Back to the masks. Back to things. I mean, there's a lot going on, and we have to understand.
Pay attention.
You got to do message.
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 Let me holler at you. Let me holler at you. Let me holler at you. Let me
holler at you real quick. Come over here, young blood. Let me say something.
Pay attention, young blood.
I mean, come on. We haven't seen stuff like this in a long time.
Yeah, man.
And these overturning of laws and rules and killing.
Go to church.
You know, I'm like, come on. If we ever needed the Lord before, we surely need him now. So
we're gonna end it on that.
Amen.
And then go to church this Sunday.
Yeah. Petra International Ministries. That's where I go. That's where I've been.
I'm Macedonia Baptist Church.
Oh, that's where you like, Kiki?
That's where Macedonia Baptist Church. I'm just Jesus is everywhere. I'm just saying. He just ain't that. He might be at the club too, but I'm just saying.
He on the main line.
Shouts to Dinah Blackwell for checking in, and also Lamont Crawford for checking in. And we have to give a shout out to our guest today, Dr. Ketwana Schoos, the Chief Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Officer for Community College of Allegheny County. Thank you so much for all that you've shared with us this evening, Dr. Schoos. And I don't know if we have a name for her. Can we give her a chick name?
That.
The DEI chick? I think we gave that to Angelica.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know.
Uh,
We'll think of something. She'll be back on again.
yes.
This
Look,
is
that's the
Smith
first time we've
anyway.
ever not had a
We've
chick
been away
name
for a while,
guest.
so
Somebody too.
we've been away for a while.
We've been away for a while. All right, so you know how to follow us. We're on all social media platforms, the Hey Girl Hey Podcast or Hey Girl Hey Podcast 2018. You can also email us, heygirlheypodcast@gmail.com. Just find us. We're on streaming everywhere. So thank you so much for joining us today. I'm your radio chick, Kiki Brown.
And I'm the chatter chick, LaShawn.
And I'm y'all millennial chick, Jeer.
Thank you again to Dr. Ketwana Schoos, our So Sweet Soror, Chief Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Officer of CAC, Community College of Allegheny County. And this is the Hey Girl Hey Podcast on Urban Media Today. Thanks for watching.